Hello students, in today's class we will discuss about laws of illumination, and this class is important for 5th sem diploma electrical students. And this laws of illumination is a very important topic of this subject, so we will understand it, the laws of illumination. So there are two laws of illumination. The first law is known as law of inverse square. According to this law, illumination of a surface is inversely proportional to square of distance between the source and surface, provided that the distance between the surface and the source is sufficiently large so as that the source can be regarded as a point source. So now the point source can be now this according to this law, the illumination of a surface is inversely proportional to square of distance. So directly we understood that the distance is inversely proportional between the source and the surface, provided that the distance between the surface and the source is sufficiently large so that the source can be regarded as a point source. Now, inverse square law. Consider a point source S having an intensity I lumens per steradian. Let two surfaces having areas A1 and A2 be placed at distance r and 2r meters away respectively, and it is from the source, this r and 2r. The two surfaces are enclosed in the same solid angle omega. The solid angle enclosed is omega here, and since the source gives I lumens per steradian, any surface enclosed by solid angle omega will receive a total flux is equal to I into omega, obviously, because the omega is the total angle and I is the intensity, so we will get the total flux is equal to I into omega lumens. Thus flux on area A1 is equal to I into omega lumens. Now this is the diagram, students. S is the point source. Let me just zoom it out so that it will be easy for you to understand. So this point, let me show you. This is the point. This is the point source, and these are the two areas, right? A1 and A2. The distance of A1 is R1. The distance of A2 is R2. Right? Now the ratio of area by distance square, that is A1 by R2 square radians, that is equation 2. Now from total flux on surface area, so what will be the total flux? As already we have mentioned that it is equal to I into A, that is I into A1, I into A1 divided by R square. So putting 2 in 1, equation 2, what was equation 2? It was A1 divided by R2. So what we will get? So by putting 2 in 1, illumination E on surface A1 is equal to I divided by A1, that is equal to I into A1 R2 into 1 by A1. So you can recall the equation 1, students, from here. The equation 1 was A1 is equal to I into omega, this one. Let me just put it in a box. So this is equation 1, A1 is equal to I into omega. So the equation is equal to 5 divided by A1 is equal to I into A1 divided by r square into 1 by a1, which is equal to capital I divided by r square lux. So all those things will cancel out. Only the thing which is left is I divided by r square. Similarly, flux on any other surface A2 when placed 2 r meters away from the similar source enclosed in the same solid angle. So the conditions are exactly the same. The distance is doubled, that is 2r, and uh, and what else? And now the angle is also, the solid angle is also the same. So what will happen to the flux? That will be equal to I into omega lumens. Now omega is equal to area divided by distance square, according to the formula which we have already stated. Area divided by distance square, from where we have got from the law of square inverse. Right here, according to this law, illumination of a surface is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Right, so from here only we have got that it is proportional to the, it is inversely proportional to the distance. Now omega is equal to area by distance square, that is equal to a2. Why a2? Because now we have considered this second area or the second plate whose area is a2 divided by the distance. What is the distance? 2r, and its square will be 2r square radians. Now phi is equal to I into a2 divided by 2r square. E2 is equal to I into A2 divided by 2r square into 1 by A2 is equal to 1 by 4 r square lux. And if we will find the ratio between E1 and E2, that will be E1 is to E2 is to double is to I by R2 R square is to 1 by R2 square. In other words, illumination at a surface is inversely proportional to the square of its distance from the source. So finally we conclude that the illumination of a surface is inversely proportional to the square of its distance from the source. So this is very important. Now Lambert's cosine law. This law states that a surface illumination of a surface varies directly as the cosine of the angle between the normal to the surface. What do you mean by normal? Perpendicular, right? Normal to the surface and direct of incident light. Therefore E is proportional to cos theta, right? So in normal surface cases, E is equal to phi divided by area, and in inclined surface, if the surface is not perpendicular or not normal, then what will happen? E is equal to phi divided by area into a factor that is known as your cos phi. So we will have a diagram over here. You can see where normal to the surface make 0 angle to the flux axis. So these are the fluxes, the arrow marks. Which one? These arrow marks, right? So these are the fluxes which are perpendicular or normal to the plane of the surface. And if it is inclined also, then the inclination is shown as the angle between them is theta, right? Now illumination at a point. Now what about a point which has to be illuminated? So we will discuss now. Let P be the point on a plane surface. We have assumed that the plane of that the surface is a plane surface. It is not a inclined one now. a plane surface at a distance d meters from a source of light s. The source is at a height h meters from the surface. Source has a high candle power, so the candle power is high. So by the first law of illumination, illumination at point P, so illumination at point P. So the diagram, just have a look at this diagram. So this is the source, let me just point it out. This is the source. Illumination at a point P has to be found out. This is the total height, and the angle subtended is theta, which is also equal to this angle. These are alternate angles. These angles will be equal and it is equal to theta. Now, according to your first law of illumination at point P, EP is proportional to I divided by d square, and according to the second law, EP is proportional to cos theta. Combining these two equations, we get EP proportional to I divided by d square into cos theta. EP is equal to I divided by d square cos theta, where I is the luminous intensity of the source in candle power. From figure 6.12, cos theta is equal to Qs divided by Ps is equal to h by d. So we will find out from the figure Qs divided by Pq. Right, this is cos theta. From the figure you can easily understand what will be cos theta. Cos theta here is equal to Qs divided by Ps. Qs divided by Ps is equal to cos theta. Now, which is equal to h divided by d. Why h? Because Qs is equal to h, small h, and Ps is equal to small d. So simplifying this equation and finding or equating d is equal to h divided by cos theta. Putting the value of d in equation 3, we will get EP is equal to I divided by h cos theta square into cos theta is equal to I divided by h square cos square theta. So therefore illumination at a point P is equal to 1 by d square, I by d square cos theta is equal to I divided by h square cos square theta. And also the illumination at point Q can also be calculated. How? At point Q, cos theta is equal to 1, as theta is equal to 0 degree, so d is equal to h. So illumination at point Q is equal to 1 divided by d square, that is equal to not 1, that is I divided by d square, that is equal to I divided by h square. So there is a simple problem, students. We will just look at this problem so that the theory can be easily understood by the help of this problem. Calculate the total flux from the lamp having mean spherical candle power of 35. So we have to find out the total flux from the lamp having mean spherical candle power, that is equal to 35. Here the ms or mean spherical candle power of the lamp is 35. MSCP is equal to the, according to the formula which we have already discussed in our previous class, is equal to total flux divided by 4 pi. Now total flux is equal to MSCP into 4 pi. It is very much you will just have to cross multiply and you have to find out the total flux, which will be equal to MSCP into 4 pi. Now 4 pi into 35 will be is equal to 4 into 22 divided by 7, the value of pi. into 35, that will give you 440 lumens. Similarly students, there is another problem. A 250 volt lamp has a total flux of 3000 lumens and takes a current of 0.8 ampere. Calculate lumens per watt, MSCP per watt. So in this question, a 250 volt lamp and the total flux and total current taken is given. So what is the total voltage? 250. Total flux is 3000 lumens. The current taken is 0.8 ampere. What we have to find out from this question? We have to find out lumens per watt and MSCP per watt. So wattage of lamp is equal to 250 into 0.8 is equal to 200 watts. Flux emitted is equal to 3000 lumens. Already these things are given in the questions. From there only this data can be found out. Now lumens per watt is equal to 5 divided by omega, that is 3000 divided by 200, which will be equal to 15. Now just look at this value of omega. Omega is taken out where wattage of lamp, that is 250 into 0.8 is done. So by multiplying this total voltage into current, you will get the wattage. So the total wattage, that is 200 watt, is divided with the flux or the phi. So we will get lumens per watt is equal to 15. Now MSCP is equal to 5 divided by 4 pi. Already phi is 3000, we have to divide it by 4 into pi. So that will give you 238.7 MSCP per watt. So MSCP per watt is equal to 240 divided by 200, that is equal to 1.2. So students, you might be thinking where this 240 came from, right? This 240. Yes. So this is MSCP, which is equal to 238.7, and it has been taken approximately equal to 240. For making the calculation simpler or easier, we have taken this MSCP approximately equal to 240. So we have taken 240. Next example. A lamp of uniform intensity of 100 candle power is enclosed inside glass globe. 25% of the light emitted by lamp is absorbed by the globe. Determine brightness of globe, candle power of globe, diameter of globe is 20 centimeter. So in this question, the diameter of the globe is given. We have to find out the brightness of the globe, the candle power of the globe, and the conditions are it is having uniform intensity of 100 candle power and it is enclosed inside a glass globe. 25% of the light emitted by lamp is absorbed. This is the condition, because whatever light is emitted, out of them 25% of them are absorbed by the glass globe, right? So let us solve this one. So the diameter is equal to 200 centimeter. Surface area of the globe is equal to 4 into pi into r square, which is equal to 4 into pi into 10 square. From where this 10 came from? This is the radius, because the diameter here is given 20 centimeter. So if the diameter is 20 centimeter, what will be the radius? Radius is equal to diameter divided by 2, right? So here we got the radius, so applying it in the surface area of the globe, 4 pi r square, we get 4 into pi into 10 square, that is equal to 400 square centimeters. Now candle power of the lamp is equal to 100. It is already given. Candle power of the globe is equal to 100. This one. Right. Now total lumens emitted by the lamp is equal to 4 pi into 100. That is equal to 400 pi lumens. Light absorbed by the globe is equal to 25%. So out of these lights, 25% of them are absorbed. So therefore light emitted from the globe will be 75%. So if we will subtract this amount, what will be the amount then? 400 pi into 1 minus 0.25, that is equal to 300 pi. It is a simple mathematics tricks. You have to just take out the 75% of this 400 pi, that will be equal to 300 pi, this value, because the total radiated light was 400 pi, this one. Out of them, this 25% were absorbed. So which was the 25? This one, 25. So how much will be left? 75%. So 400 was total. What will be the 75%? It will be obviously 300. So brightness of the globe is equal to light emitted by globe divided by surface area of the globe. This is the formula which we have already discussed in our previous classes. So 300 pi divided by 400 pi will be is equal to 75, 0.75. So this will be the brightness of the globe. Now candle power of the globe. So what will be the candle power of the globe? Candle power of the globe is equal to lumens emitted from globe divided by 4 pi. So this 300 pi divided by 4 pi, because from the formula this Cp of globe is equal to lumens emitted from the globe divided by 4 pi. We will just put the formula, and now the lumens emitted from globe is 300 pi divided by 4 pi will give you 75 Cp, or your candle power. Next example. A source of light has an output of 500 candle power in all directions. So students, where this type of question is there, you have to consider this is a point source. Here also this source is this one which I have just shown you. So this is a point source and has an output of 500 candle power in all direction. Below the lamp level, it is suspended at 3 meters above the ground. So the distance from the ground is 3 meters. Right, it is 3 meters. Calculate the illumination at point A on ground directly below lamp. So below lamp, what will be the illumination? You have to find out. Illumination at B, 5 meter away from A, assuming uniform distribution of light. Total flux of light within a circular area of 1 meter diameter around the point A, assuming uniform illuminations. So if we will assume uniform illumination, what will be the illumination at B? Now candle power of lamp is equal to 500, small h is equal to 3 meters. Now applying Pythagoras theorem, D is equal to 5 square plus 3 square whole root over will give you 34 root over. All this will be in meter, because already your height and your all those things are in meters. So illumination at A, E is equal to 1 I divided by h square, that is equal to 500 divided by 9. So the value of I here is 500 divided by h square. What is the height? 3. So if the height is 3, what is the square of it? 3 square is 9. So how much we will get? 55.55 lux. Similarly, illumination at B, ES is equal to I divided by d square cos theta is equal to 500 divided by 34, because d square is this one, this 34 square root, right? So from there we found out the distance, and its square root will give you 34 into cos theta. Again, cos theta is equal to 3 divided by root 34. So from where this value has came? This cos theta is equal to 3 divided by root over of 34. So it is from this figure. So from here we can find out this cos theta is equal to 3 divided by this root over of 34 by applying Pythagoras theorem. Now diameter is equal to 1 meter, surface area is equal to 4 divided by pi divided by 4 d square is equal to 0.7854 square meters, and the total flux will be is equal to 55 into 55 into 0.7854, that will be equal to 43.64 lumens. There are other examples also, students. You just work out this numericals, and in our next class we shall discuss about sources of light. Then we have electrical sources of light, the incandescent lamps, what are the material used in incandescent lamp. Then you have its diagram and what are its main material, the material which they are made of. So we'll discuss all those things in our next class. Also you have another type of lamp, that is the glass cover, yes, arc lamp. So this is another important type of lamp which we will discuss in our next class. So thank you, students.